Ever had that moment when she suddenly starts testing you after you've gone silent for a while? It feels like a game, doesn't it? But here's the truth. It's not random. This is her way of measuring whether you're still the confident, high-value man she was initially drawn to, or if you've become someone she can walk all over. These tests are her subtle way of trying to gauge your strength, resilience, and ability to stand your ground. The way you respond will either ignite her attraction to you or make her lose interest faster than you can blink. But don't worry, because in this video, I'm going to reveal exactly why she throws these tests your way after no contact, and more importantly, how to handle them like a seasoned pro. I'll show you how to stay calm, collected, and stoic, maintaining your confidence and self-worth like a true high-value man. This is your chance to show her that you're not someone to be played with. Ready to take control and win her over? Let's dive in and break it all down. 1. Why she tests you after no contact. When you decide to implement no contact, you're not just giving her space, you're creating an emotional earthquake. Before you went silent, you were consistent, present, and reliable. Your efforts to stay connected gave her a sense of comfort and control, knowing she could count on you to reach out. But the second you pull away, you disrupt that carefully constructed balance. Suddenly, she's forced to face a reality she wasn't prepared for. So, why does this sudden silence shake her so deeply? The answer is simple. People often don't realize the value of what they have until it's gone. When you step back, it triggers an automatic pause, forcing her to reflect on everything between you two. At first, she might dismiss it with a thought like, "He'll come back eventually." But as time passes and the silence lingers, uncertainty creeps in. She begins to question, why hasn't he reached out? What's changed? Is he moving on? These questions stir up anxiety because for the first time she doesn't have the clarity she once did. She's left in limbo, unsure of where she stands with you. And that lack of control, it's unsettling. So what does she do next? She tests you. Why? To regain control over the situation without risking rejection. She's trying to gauge if you're still emotionally available or if you've genuinely moved on. By throwing these subtle tests your way, she's trying to take the reins once again, but without exposing herself to the potential sting of vulnerability. And here's where your response becomes critical. How you handle her tests will determine whether she gets more intrigued and drawn to you, or if her fears are confirmed and she feels that she still holds the upper hand. The ball is in your court. If you play it cool and stay emotionally grounded, you'll make her chase you harder, respecting your strength. But if you falter, you risk reinforcing her belief that she's the one with the power. The next few moments could either bring her closer or push her away. Are you ready to take control and win her back on your terms? 2. The types of tests. She'll throw your way. When she starts testing you, it might feel like casual behavior at first, but don't be fooled. Each test is carefully crafted to push your buttons and reveal key aspects of your character. She's not just playing games for fun. She's gauging your emotional strength, your self-assurance, and whether you've mastered the art of keeping your boundaries intact. These tests are meant to challenge you, to see if you can hold your ground. Let's break down some of the most common tests she'll throw your way, and what they truly mean. The casual text test. She might hit you up with something like a simple, "Hey," or "What's up?" It seems innocent enough, right? But this is no casual check-in. It's a subtle test of how much you're still chasing her. If you respond too quickly or with too much enthusiasm, she'll think you've been waiting by the phone for her attention. This is her way of seeing if she still has that power over you, and if you're still emotionally hooked. The social media move. She'll start liking your posts, viewing your stories, or even posting things that seem designed to provoke a reaction. like a picture with another guy or a cryptic status saying something like, "living my best life." This isn't her moving on. It's a strategy to test your jealousy and see if you'll scramble to get her attention back. It's a game of emotional chess to see if you'll react or keep your cool. The nostalgia trap. Out of nowhere, she might send you a message like, "Remember that wild road trip we took?" This isn't just some trip down memory lane. It's a calculated move to check if you're still emotionally attached. She's looking for signs that the connection is still there, or if you've let the silence of no contact erase those feelings. It's an emotional tug-of-war to test whether you're still invested, or if you've emotionally moved on. The emotional test. She might reach out saying something like, "I've been feeling really down lately." This is a direct challenge to your boundaries. Is she testing whether you'll rush in and offer emotional support, risking getting pulled back into the cycle of attachment? Or will you stand firm, maintaining the emotional distance you've worked so hard to establish? This test is all about measuring your ability to stay emotionally strong and keep your newfound power. These tests aren't random. They're carefully calculated moves designed to see how much influence she still holds over you. Each one is an opportunity for you to show whether you're emotionally available, whether you've grown as a person, and whether you've managed to keep your boundaries intact. Recognizing these tests is key, but how you respond will determine whether she respects your strength or whether you lose your grip on control. Ready to pass the test? 3. How to recognize a test without reacting. The number one mistake most men make when a woman starts testing them is reacting emotionally. Whether it's a vague text, a cryptic post on social media, or a seemingly innocent comment designed to get under your skin, many guys fall right into the trap by responding impulsively. What they fail to realize is that by reacting right away, they're giving her exactly what she wants: control. When you let your emotions take the wheel, you've already lost the upper hand. So, how do you spot a test without getting caught in the emotional whirlwind? The first step is paying attention to patterns in her behavior. If she sends you a message like, "Hey stranger," or "What's up?" it might seem casual, but it's far from a genuine attempt to reconnect. These texts are designed to see how quickly you'll jump to engage. She's trying to test if you're still emotionally invested and eager to chase after her. Next, keep an eye on her social media activity. If she suddenly starts liking your posts, viewing your stories, or posting things that seem like they're meant to stir up jealousy, that's a red flag. She might even share something cryptic or mention other people just to see if it sparks a reaction from you. These are all ways she's testing your emotional control, looking for signs that you'll let your emotions dictate your actions. Then there's the nostalgia trap. She'll drop a comment about a shared memory or inside joke, trying to lure you back into those emotional connections from the past. The goal? To see if you're still holding on to those feelings or if the silence has allowed you to detach. When you start recognizing these patterns, the key is to remain grounded and composed. Don't rush to respond, and don't give her the emotional reaction she's expecting. Take a step back, breathe, and assess. Ask yourself, what's her real motive here? Is she genuinely trying to reconnect, or is this just another test to see how far she can push me? By resisting the urge to reply impulsively, you're demonstrating emotional maturity and control. You're showing her that you're not easily swayed by her attempts to manipulate the situation. This is the kind of strength that makes you stand out as a high-value man. When you don't react emotionally, you shift the power dynamic in your favor, and she'll find herself more intrigued, more attracted, and ultimately more likely to chase you. The key to passing every test. Passing her tests isn't about playing hard to get or ignoring her completely. It's about demonstrating that you are a man who knows his worth, confident, composed and fully in control of his own life. When she throws a test your way, what she's really seeking is reassurance. She wants to know if you have the emotional strength to handle her, if you can stand your ground without crumbling, and if you respect yourself enough not to be swayed by her games. So, how do you pass every test with ease? Here's the blueprint for navigating these situations without breaking a sweat. Stay calm and collected. No matter what kind of test she throws your way, whether it's a cryptic text, a social media post designed to provoke you, or a sudden emotional reach-out, your first and most important reaction should always be calmness. Don't let her actions stir you or cause you to lose composure. The key is staying grounded, centered, and in control, no matter how much she tries to push your buttons. Take your time. When she sends a message, don't be in a rush to respond. Allow the silence to linger a bit. This will make her wonder if you're waiting for her to reach out or if you're simply busy living your own life. When you take your time, you subtly shift the power dynamic in your favor, showing her that you're not desperate for her attention. You've got your own world to focus on. Be clear, but not overly invested. If you do decide to respond, keep it brief, confident, and assertive. For example, something like, "Hey, just staying focused on my goals right now." This shows her that you have a life outside of her, and your attention isn't easily diverted by her drama. You're not emotionally available to play her games, but you're not shutting her down either. Don't overreact to provocation. If she's trying to provoke jealousy or guilt, whether through her actions or words, don't bite. Stay unbothered. She may want to stir things up to see if you'll react emotionally, but by staying composed, you show that you're in control and not easily manipulated. Don't feed into the chaos. Keep your focus on what truly matters, your own growth and peace of mind. Passing her tests isn't about proving anything to her. It's about proving to yourself that you've mastered emotional control, that you value your time and energy, and that you won't let her games dictate your mood or behavior. When you respond from a place of self-respect, you not only protect your own boundaries, but you also show her that you're the one in control. And let's face it, there's nothing more attractive than a man who doesn't need her to feel complete. 5. Why her tests are an opportunity, not a threat. At first, her tests might seem frustrating, even manipulative, but here's the truth. They're actually an opportunity in disguise. When she tests you, she's offering you a chance to showcase your value, not by chasing her, begging for her attention or reacting emotionally, but by standing firm in your confidence and demonstrating emotional maturity. Think of it this way. Every test she throws your way is her way of assessing if you're truly the strong, composed man you present yourself to be. She's evaluating whether you're worthy of her time, emotional investment, and energy. When you pass these tests, you're reinforcing her perception of you as someone who is high value, self-assured, and capable of offering something real and meaningful. You're showing her that you're not just another guy, you're someone she can respect and potentially build a future with. Here's the mindset shift that will change everything. Instead of viewing her tests as obstacles, challenges, or games, start seeing them as opportunities to prove how far you've come. This is your moment to show her that you're no longer the man who used to chase her or seek her approval. You've grown, you've evolved, and her tests are simply a reflection of that growth. They're not there to knock you down. They're there to give you the platform to prove your emotional strength, your self-respect, and your inner stability. When you embrace her tests as opportunities, you're completely flipping the script. You're no longer the guy who's caught up in a game where she holds the power. Instead, you're the one setting the tone. You're leading the interaction with confidence, letting her know that the relationship dynamic will be based on mutual respect, not emotional manipulation, desperation, or insecurity. This is the foundation of any healthy, lasting relationship. So, the next time she tests you, remember this. It's not a threat. It's your moment to shine. It's your chance to show her that you've evolved into a high-value man who won't be swayed by games. And when you pass the test with poise, you'll see how much more attractive that makes you in her eyes. 6. She becomes curious about your life without her. One of the most powerful effects of going no contact is the intense curiosity it ignites in her. The moment you stop reaching out, stop chasing, she's left wondering what's happening in your life. And this curiosity isn't born out of indifference. It comes from a deep, almost instinctual desire to understand her place in your world now that you've stepped out of hers. Suddenly, she starts to imagine a million different scenarios. Are you spending more time with friends? Have you moved on? Are you happier without her? These questions invade her mind, and the uncertainty only makes her more intrigued. The more she's left in the dark, the more obsessed she becomes with figuring out what you're up to. She might start checking out your social media, asking mutual friends about you, or even rereading old messages in an attempt to decode your emotions. But here's the twist. This curiosity isn't just about wanting to know what you're doing, it's about her need for validation. She wants reassurance that despite the silence, she still holds a place in your world. Your absence creates a void of validation, and that's what keeps her hooked. The beauty of this stage is that her curiosity often leads her to take action. She might reach out with a casual text or start liking your posts on social media, all in an attempt to trigger a response. What's important here is how you respond, or, more importantly, how you don't respond. Stay composed. Let her curiosity simmer. The more she wonders, the more drawn she becomes. This is the turning point when you know the dynamic has shifted. You're no longer the one chasing her. Now, she's the one chasing answers. Curiosity becomes your power, and the more emotionally unaffected you remain, the more she'll feel the irresistible pull to figure you out. The longer she's left in the dark, the stronger the desire to reconnect becomes. This is when you truly see the tables turning in your favor. 7. She starts to doubt her own decisions. As time passes, the absence you've created stirs more than just longing. It forces her to confront her own decisions. Slowly, like a shadow creeping across the landscape of her thoughts, self-doubt begins to seep in. It doesn't hit her all at once, but rather builds piece by piece. She starts questioning the choices that led her here. Did I take him for granted? Was I too dismissive of all the effort he put in? Did I misjudge how deep our connection really was? At first, she may try to brush these thoughts aside, telling herself, he'll come back eventually, or it wasn't that serious anyway. These justifications feel comforting in the moment, but as the silence stretches on, their power begins to fade. What once seemed like a defense mechanism soon loses its grip, leaving her alone with the uncomfortable reality that you're not coming back right away. This is where the shift happens. Instead of focusing on why you've gone silent, she begins to turn inward, reflecting on her own behavior, decisions, and the role she played in the breakdown of the relationship. She starts replaying every conversation, every moment you shared, and questioning where things went wrong. With every reflection, she begins to see where she may have misread the situation, taken you for granted, or failed to appreciate what you brought to the table. The longer she sits with these doubts, the more intense the regret becomes. Eventually, it becomes undeniable. She starts to feel a deep sense of loss and begins wondering how she let something so valuable slip away. This internal struggle often sparks a strong desire to make amends. The silence you've maintained has created enough emotional space for her to fully realize what she lost. and more importantly, how her actions contributed to that loss. This realization is transformative for her. She's no longer focused on the void you left, but rather on the role she played in creating that void. The self-doubt, the regret, and the longing intensify as she starts to understand that her decisions might have cost her something irreplaceable. Eventually, this shift leads her to take action, whether it's reaching out to you directly, testing the waters with subtle gestures, or finding other ways to reconnect. The seed of doubt has been planted, and now it's blossoming into a powerful recognition of what she could have had. And in this moment, as the realization sinks in, you'll see her true feelings for you come to the surface. 8. She begins to idealize you. Once the dust settles from her confusion and self-doubt, something truly powerful starts to unfold. She begins to idealize you in your absence. Her mind starts to focus more and more on the best parts of your connection, the moments when you made her laugh, the thoughtful gestures you always made, and the emotional support you gave her. These memories begin to take on a new light, and soon she's seeing you in a way she never did before. This psychological shift is known as rose-colored retrospection. It's a common phenomenon when someone is no longer in our lives. We tend to amplify the positive moments and minimize the negative, often making the past seem far better than it actually was. For her, this means you're no longer just a person she used to know. You've transformed into the person she wishes she still had. The absence has given her the clarity to see your true worth. She'll catch herself thinking, "I didn't realize how much he truly brought into my life," or "I miss the way he made me feel so understood and appreciated." These thoughts become more frequent, and as time passes, she elevates you even further in her mind. What seemed like an ordinary relationship now stands out as something unique and valuable, something she may not have fully appreciated at the time. The more time that passes, the more she recognizes how much you contributed to her life. And because you're no longer actively pursuing her, your value is highlighted even more clearly. Your absence forces her to reflect on what she lost, and the longer she dwells on the good aspects of your connection, the more intense her desire to reconnect becomes. This is where the true power of no contact reveals itself. By allowing her to idealize you, you've created the perfect conditions for her to feel that irresistible pull to close the gap. The more you maintain your distance and let her paint you as the perfect figure in her mind, the more she'll feel compelled to take action and make an effort to reconnect. This is the moment when she realizes she doesn't want to lose you, and when you've given her the space to truly miss you. 9. She becomes afraid of losing you for good. As her curiosity, doubts, and idealization continue to grow, something deeper begins to take hold: fear. It's not just the fear of losing you, it's the fear of losing the connection, the emotional security, and the sense of self she experienced while she was with you. You weren't just a partner. Being with you made her feel understood, valued, and emotionally secure. Losing that feeling is more terrifying than she initially realized. The silence you've maintained starts to feel permanent, and that realization shakes her to her core. She begins to wonder, what if he's already moved on? What if he's happier without me? What if I've lost my chance forever? These questions linger in her mind, growing louder with each passing day. The uncertainty around your absence begins to weigh heavily on her, and that weight manifests as fear, the fear that the emotional connection she once took for granted is slipping away, possibly for good. This fear doesn't fade. It intensifies, almost consuming her thoughts. And when fear reaches this level, it drives action. She might try to test the waters by reaching out, asking for a conversation, or attempting to rekindle what was lost. Alternatively, she may engage with your social media posts or send casual messages, all in an attempt to gauge your response and reassure herself that you're still there, still interested. However she chooses to act, know that this fear of losing you is the most powerful signal that your approach is working. The longer you maintain your distance, the more she will be confronted with the reality that she may have let something valuable slip through her fingers. The fear of losing you for good forces her to confront her feelings and pushes her to make the first move. In this critical moment, the key is to stay calm, grounded, and unwavering. You've already shown your strength and self-respect by walking away. Now it's her turn to prove that she's ready to meet you halfway. The next step is pivotal. How you respond, or if you choose not to respond, will dictate the future of the relationship. Stay true to yourself and your value, and let her make the choice to reconnect on your terms. 10. She realizes she needs to change to keep you. The final stage in her emotional journey is a powerful realization that if she truly wants to keep you in her life, she must change, not just to win you back, but to genuinely earn your respect and show that she values what you both shared. This is the moment where she shifts from merely longing for you to recognizing that she must grow if she wants to be worthy of you. At this point, she starts to reflect deeply on her past actions, looking at the patterns and behaviors that may have pushed you away. She may ask herself questions like, was I too dismissive of his efforts? Did I take his love and attention for granted? Did I fail to appreciate the little things he did to make me feel special? These realizations are not driven by guilt alone. They're fueled by her genuine desire for self-improvement and the need to change in order to keep you around. This is the beginning of her transformation. If she reaches out to you, it's no longer just about rekindling the relationship. Now, it's about proving that she's learned from her mistakes and is willing to meet the standards you've set for how you deserve to be treated. She may express regret, take full accountability for her actions, and even ask how she can make things right. This is her way of showing that she recognizes your worth and is ready to step up. This is where your self-respect truly pays off. By walking away, you set the bar for how you expect to be treated, and now she's responding to that bar. She recognizes that you're not just someone to be taken for granted, but someone worthy of effort, growth, and change. Whether or not you decide to rebuild the relationship is entirely up to you, but the fact is, you've already won. You've shown that you value yourself, your emotional well-being, and your boundaries above all else. Walking away wasn't a sign of giving up. It was a declaration that you're not willing to settle for anything less than the respect and treatment you deserve. Now, she sees that. This is your moment to decide what comes next. Whether you choose to move forward or not, the power dynamic has shifted firmly in your favor. If this video gave you clarity, be sure to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear about your experiences. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.